Hello, fellow map makers. Welcome to another live map making session. I hope you can see me. Can you? I'm not appearing. Oh yes, bells are coming in at least, so that's a good sign. You should be hearing the bells loud and clear today, because I've got the window open, wide open, because just now a little breeze is coming in and relieving me a little bit of the sweltering heat we have here. Also, very sorry in the chat that I have a fellow mapper from Düsseldorf, the same 35 degrees Celsius that I have here in Siegen. And that's 95 degrees Fahrenheit for US viewers, if there are any yet, or for those watching later in. And that's, while it might be not that exceptional for some US states, it's pretty bad for us here in Germany. Really not used to that. And so hopefully I'll not suddenly melt away here during tonight's session, and be around next week again when the temperatures are lower again. It looks like it's going up another couple degrees until Sunday. It's 37, so that's pretty exceptional for my location here, and then we'll get a big thunderstorms crash, and after that hopefully lower temperatures again. All right, so see what did I want to do tonight? Actually, I wanted to already do that last week, but some circumstances forced me to postpone that to today. So we are looking at the Forgotten Realms Interactive Atlas product that Profantasy did together with Wizards of the Coast back in the day. Been a long time now. I forgot to, I think I looked up the year, but I forgot now. See, let's have a quick look whether I can. That's in the About the Atlas. Yeah, they're 1999. So it's 27 years ago that this product was created. Or it actually still says TSR here, not Wizards. Yeah, it was still TSR back in the day. And it's a huge collection of files or maps from the Forgotten Realms D&D setting. Dungeons and Dragons' biggest, not the oldest, but I think the biggest, largest fantasy setting that they've ever done. Tons of material accumulated over the years, and many of the locations were mapped in this atlas. Actually, back at the time, TSR collected all the maps they had on file and dumped them onto us and said, here, go ahead and do convert that into a big atlas. And that was a huge undertaking back then. At the time, it was just, I think there was also 3 or 4 people, Mark, Simon, Linda Kikumu at the end of the day, and maybe someone else at the company, and then they hired Ian Malcolm to do some of the editing and organization on this stuff. And it still was way too much stuff to do for that few people, so they came to the community back in the day, which was organized around a mailing list, and asked who wanted to take part and help out for nothing really much in the way of money, but at least for a credit and a copy of the atlas. And that's how I came into the project, because back then I was not working for Profantasy yet, and I was just a community member and joined the horde of mappers who contributed on this stuff. And I forget the number, there's several hundred maps in here, and I was responsible for the bigger overland map for the Arabian Nights setting back in the day. Saqqara is the continent that it's named in the setting, and I did all the overland maps for that, and then some additional ones, zooming in a bit. That was great fun and brought me into a bit more of professional map making. And certainly one of the reasons I am sitting here tonight and showing you this stuff. So what do I want to do today? I want to give you a quick impression of the atlas and what it contains, and you might get a chance to find it in secondhand on the secondhand market somewhere, while it's not up to date or accurate maps for the Forgotten Realms anymore. In many of the places, they've changed quite a lot over the years in the world. But it's still a very fun thing with lots of maps you can just take out and use for your stuff, or use as a basis for a more modern looking map. And it's just fun to browse around in. Though probably getting it at a cheap price is not that easy, because everybody who owns it hoards it like a red dragon hoarding his gold. Yeah, as Remy says, the Forgotten Realms Atlas is also a bit of an inspiration for the current community atlas that Remy is handling and collecting maps for on the forum. If you're interested in creating something as huge and wonderful as this, head over there and check it out. Everybody can pick something from the huge world map and do select a location or a piece of land or to map it and contribute there. It's a wonderful project, and Remy has set up a huge archive and reference map and access point to see all those maps and use them for your own games. So what do we get here? You might notice that this looks of kind of little bit like Campaign Cartographer, but it is not. This is actually a viewer for the Campaign Cartographer maps, so it does allow you to load up the maps in the vector format and display them, like we used to do a free viewer where people could share maps. The only problem is because nowadays you do need all the bitmap reference files, it becomes just too unwieldy to support that anymore, and this thing has been dropped. It still works for Victor style maps, so like these are, they don't reference any external bitmaps, so that works fine, but it doesn't work for Campaign Cartographer 3 Plus maps. Yeah, Sue has posted the link to the community atlas. Good idea. Remind me to put it into the video description afterwards so people can check that out. And this is just one of the maps here shown in the display that comes with the one. This is the world map, the big one that shows the overview of the whole world. The world is called Toriel in the setting. Forgotten Realms is actually just a subcontinent here, the continent of Faerun, where most of the stuff takes place. And then you can see here the Oriental setting, the Saqqara, kind of Arabian Nights themed adventures back in the day, which I did. Kara-Tur is the bit East Asian, Chinese, Japanese setting, and then they had a bit in the Mastika setting, which is a kind of Mesoamerican inspired campaign setting. Then they had some pieces of the world that they just included for I think just not to have stuff look too empty. The Terra Incognita pieces here, which were never developed into anything setting-wise, where you could of course could set your own stuff and create your own locations. One of the other neat things here is you got a little globe that's written by Joe Slayton back in the day, I think, and you can see something similar in Fractal Terrains. Basically a world map on a globe, which you can spin around. You see, you can rotate that and view the map here. You can also zoom in. And then you can click on certain sections here, highlighted, and just jump to that place in the map. See, if I click on Saqqara here in the map, then I'll jump in. If I go on the Kingdom of Thai, evil magician ruled kingdom in the Red Wizards of Thai. Perhaps you've seen the latest D&D movie, which was actually very fun. Good, fun fantasy movie, and that's featured the Wizards of Thai as the villains. And one other thing, you can see also a little bit the map in a satellite image-like view here. That's unfortunately one thing you can't transpose to another world. The stuff this is hard-coded into this globe here. You can't use that for other stuff, but it's pretty cool and nice here on the map. Go, and then we can zoom out again. The setting even has a little maps for the astronomical setting. Here you've got the realm space, because the whole setting of course also has stuff like other planets and things. And there was the Spelljammer setting, which allows you to travel between worlds in the Dungeon Designer big multiverse, and so it's used for that. And then you can zoom in again. Yeah, one of the things is here on the maps, one of the links setups is if you click on the compass rose. Oh, this is actually not the compass rose, but you go to in there because this is the topmost map. But if you're in a submap here, say Southeastern Kara-Tur, if you click on the compass rose, you always go one level up. So you go to the next level of maps. And if you click on, no, that was only on the astronomical map where you clicked on the scale bar to go back into the world. And then you've got the rectangles here, which link you to the continental submaps. That's why if you click on here, you jump into the Sword Coast map, and here this area, and then you can see this is again subdivided in northern half and the southern half. If I click on here, then we get this and the next level, and I can click on here to go to the Sea of Swords and the Trackless Sea. I can also click here on this submap. Then we go into the regional maps, and you see all the stuff that's in purple will be links to other locations. And you've got the most famous city of the Forgotten Realms, the Waterdeep city of Waterdeep, up here. If I click on this, this brings up perhaps the most amazing maps in the Forgotten Realms Interactive Atlas, the city of Waterdeep. Unfortunately, it's a little bit the wrong orientation for us here, but as you can see, it's got tons of detail. On this existed as a hand-drawn map. This was converted. I forget who did this. In an amazing amount of work, they converted this into the campaign cartographer map, and this actually served as the basis for lots of the stuff we did for City Designer back then. City Designer 2 hadn't come out, I think, and this was all the house commands and street commands were developed here for this map, and looking at this. So this is one of the foundational maps of the current suite of software. So you see the cursor is still the pointing finger, means we can jump into submaps. So this is just one of the city districts, and still lots of a map in here. You can also, of course, use the normal zoom functions. See, all of this was drawn by hand, and you can click one of the pieces, and you get one of the little streets and locations of the city. And damn it, I should know who was that. But no, that wasn't Lee Saunders. I should know who created the Waterdeep city map for this. I forget. Sorry about whoever did it. But they are not around in the community anymore, if I remember correctly. Linda Kokumu had a lot of she was working on basically everything at the time. She did a ton of work on this whole thing, and I know she directed me in all the details for the Sakara map, and she did that for almost everybody else in the project. That was also a huge undertaking. Ah, yes, right. Tito Liati. Tito. who did the he did the Waterdeep map. That's correct. Thank you, Remy, for checking it. So you see, this is one map that doesn't have any submaps anymore, and there you can just click on the compass rose here, and this just takes you up back to the next level. Let's see, let's click here. They've got the Castle Waterdeep, and this has several floors. So I can see all this was mapped by people on the, go up and down by links on the floor plan map. We also have a 3D view overview of Castle Waterdeep. So this will also have been a hand-drawn map provided to us by TSR, and then somebody sat down and made a campaign cartographer map from this. I do have individual about the Atlas info map notes, map details, and see, there's actually the artist in there, Annalise Johnson, which I unfortunately do not remember from the day, but still it's a wonderful map from sort of the product where the map was in. This was City of Splendors. It was the poster map in the product, and I've got information on that up here. And then link back. I'll see, let's have a look who created this map, and see that's Dave Eddy, and then Ian R. Malcolmson, meaning that Dave was probably the original one who got this assigned to and created the map, and then Ian went in and did some details or finished it. There was always at the time, of course, because it's just free work, just community members pitching in. There were always instances where someone couldn't finish the work for various reasons and other people had to take over. So, I know that Linda and Ian did a lot of fixing and creating the last steps for the maps to make them ready back in the time, and they had a huge undertaking. Go back up here and let's double check. Well, I think Tito Liati should be right. Edit. Yeah, there's the artist Tito Liati listed. Oh, then you've got individual buildings in here again, so the various levels linked together via the stairs, going back up here, going back up to the main map, and so also stuff here. Do some key index, different levels. We even have maps of the huge mega dungeon underneath Waterdeep, the Undermountain. Click in here and see you've got another huge dungeon map. And I'm kind of just showing you little tidbits of this whole project. See, that's probably a drow settlement or something like that. And lots of indexed locations in here. Going back up to the city map. And so let's have a quick look at my project at the Saqqara map. So we can always go, the easiest navigation is mostly in here over the compass roses and stuff, but this whole thing is also text indexed. So you can go in and say, I want to look for some text. So for example, if I search for the Waterdeep map, it's not only if the file name that's indexed, but also all the text in the maps. So see if I say Saqqara for OK, then it gives me all the maps that have something in with Saqqara in there. So even the Torah map here, though there's no Saqqara in the file name, it will have Saqqara on the overview map, and therefore we can see it listed here in the index. But I do want to go to the Saqqara map directly, so I'm gonna open that. And there's the overall map, so we can click on one of the submaps here, and you'll sometimes have some in the video DM sites linked from here that were not linked, just small places that would be hard to find if we didn't look them by text. And they've got the Terrapin Island, see shape of a large turtle, so it's probably something. So this would have been from some adventure or something that TSR published at some point, and they just pulled out the map and said this should be on the link to that map or to that location. And we mapped it. See here the island, an island map, also a linked city. You've got another, just one of dozens of city maps in this. And then also this still even goes further down to a swamp map, the Firethorn Swamp. Interesting. Yeah, and in here to Coral Mire. This will also have been from an adventure, all the locations in there. And back up. And that's the layout and kind of setup of the Forgotten Realms Interactive Atlas. Here you can just go up also always with that arrow. This basically does the same as clicking the compass rose. And what you can also do is you can show and hide layers from the campaign cartographer map. So if you want to hide some stuff, so let's see, we've got the big cartoon map here, but you don't want the trees. You can always go in and hide the symbols, for example. And then you'll have, oh no, that doesn't work on this one. Okay, so they're not on the symbol. This is, I think it's a fill, or is it? No. I'm not entirely sure how everything is organized here anymore. What happens if I hide the vegetation layer? Yeah, the vegetation hides the symbols on the vegetation layer. And then you've got a little bit of an easier view of everything. You'll notice that these things do have a noticeable redraw time. That's because they just have so many vector symbols in there, and campaign cartographer or the viewer is not as fast as today's campaign cartographer, so it always has a little bit of a redraw time. And you can also, of course, print the maps, print dialog. You can also save them. Can you file save as? Yes, you can also save copies and work on them in Campaign Cartographer. And that's what I wanted to show you next. We can still open this easily in Campaign Cartographer 3+. So let's close this for a moment. And here we've got the one of the maps opened in Campaign Cartographer 3+. If I click the open file, see, take a look where this is located. This is basically at the time, everything was just still dumped in the one installation folder, not like today where you've got the program files separated from all the program data. So it's installed to program files and then the FRIA, Forgotten Realms Interactive Atlas, and then we've got the maps in there, and there's all the maps in here. So see. Oops, yeah, I can't select several in here, but I could actually take a look and do a quick check how many maps are in there. If I go to location maps and do a little, it's 855 maps in here. It was quite a few less when we first published the Atlas, because quite a few maps were not actually finished, and then TSR actually came back with more maps after the publication, and there's 3 updates, I think, with 1 fixes, because of course there are some errors in the maps, but also lots of new maps, and that's brings up the whole number to those 855. Got a question from Sue whether we can still open these in CC4. Yes, because it's always going to be backwards compatible. So you can open all the old maps in CC4 as well. And there's someone noticed it that we've just published the new Profanacy website, the look, and the new store. If you want to check it out, there might still be some glitches and stuff. It's brand new, first gone live. So if you want to check that out and find any problems, do let us know. Okay. And then, yes, here I'm in Campaign Cartographer, and let's just take a quick look. I wanted to load up the base map. If I can, no, I don't know the name by heart, so the easiest thing is to just use the navigation links in the files, in the maps. While you don't have the up button here that you have on the viewer, you can still just as formally use the oh, okay. Yeah, it does have problems saving to the file because it's in the program files folder, and Windows doesn't want me to save anything in there, which makes sense. So I'm not gonna save it and just load up the map. And there's the whole thing. And here's the world map. As I said, what you don't get is the globe viewer. Yes, someone converted everything to CC3, what you can do with our batch conversion, or CC2 to CC3 conversion commands. But the problem is, because these don't use sheets, you'll have just the common sheet, and back in the day, sheets were not used in the way we're using them today. And while Campaign Cartographer does follow some rules, which you can also say in the conversion if you set up your own conversion, how everything should be organized, stuff will be off, and you'll have to be manual fix things. So there'll be some work involved if you do that. But no problem, you can do it. So it also came with some vector symbols back in the day, which I've loaded up here. If I click right, you see it's a selection of sort of fairly small selection of symbols, but it was quite a new style back in the day, though. I know it was similar to the base Campaign Cartographer style, and expanded it with new symbols back then. At the same time, there was the core rules available, which had a mapping soft piece in there called Campaign Mapper, and that was actually a scaled-down version of Campaign Cartographer. So you use the same file format, and you could use this in Campaign Mapper as well. Right. So if we want to take a look at the links, we can now in Campaign Cartographer say stuff like view show hyperlinks, and let's have a look. Everything, yeah, is there, and we should be able. I know this in this, because of the top map, the Compass Rose does not have a link, but the text is very small. So here you can see that what the click does. It's basically just a simple load map command with a link to the map in question. So all that was done by hand as well to link the stuff together. And you can edit things, of course, as well by clicking the edit button. And that's just the polygon though. Let's have a quick look on what layer these are. That's because it's the rectangle is a separate, that just shows the location of the link is just a separate entity, and that's on the map links layer, and the hotspot is on the same layer though. And that makes it hard to sort them out from each other, but it's not really necessary. We don't need to do that. All right. Oh yes, if someone doesn't see the new view yet, that's of the website, that's going to be because the new URL needs to propagate. Or so it's going to be a little while for some people until they see the new look. So don't worry if you're still seeing the old website at the moment. Okay. So there we go. And of course, you can do the same thing in here. There should let's have a quick look whether the index looks like as well. No, I do think. No, it does use a new. It doesn't have the index as such in here. So it's gonna go through all the maps here at the moment. Sorry for that. I'm gonna take a moment, which I can't interrupt. See how it goes all through the different maps here, indexing and looking for the text at the moment. That's why you normally want an index, which will have all the stuff included in there already, so it doesn't have to go through the process of looking through all the different maps at the same time. Oh, it's also, I think, actually a cannon board there. Good, that's good to know. Let's have a look whether I can. Let's just look. Or I might have. Or the interruption. I don't think it liked the interruption there. I think I need to cancel this. And let's restart the whole thing. There we are. Okay, because I wanted to show you how to create the index. It does have a list of bookmarks as well. No, actually it doesn't have at the moment. We need to create that. You can do new bookmarks in here. Let's search. Okay. You can create bookmarks by search. I see. Can I create an index? That was in search files for text. No, that's the command. And I'm trying to remember at the moment how to create an index file for the map. Yeah, and I can't at the moment remember there. Let's have a quick search here for in the help files. Create index. There we are. I know that's the create index from City Designer. It's just not actually what I'm looking for. The designer, help. I probably should have looked this up before the session. I thought you could do that just simply from this one. I think we do need to set a search path here to do that properly. And not the subdirectories. The only thing is I can't do this with it. It's all a little bit old, so I'm gonna do a program files x86 Forgotten Realms Interactive Atlas and the maps in there. That's what I want. I don't need any subdirectories there, and just search for anything. Oh, that's no, that doesn't work. Okay, sorry about that. I wanted to look up how to create an index here, and I forgot to do that. So we're going to skip the index here for the moment. What I wanted to show you how to set up something similar in the way of links and stuff. Okay, it's getting a little bit hot here now. Sorry if I'm getting a little bit sweaty, but that was to be expected in the weather. All right. So as a suggestion there, let's have a quick look whether what happens if I do an index. Yeah, I can actually index something here. Dollar is the current map, and then no, but that doesn't do anything itself. Search path. Let's have a quick look in the Forgotten Realms Interactive Atlas. Oh, that's the old registration thing that always pops up when you start the Forgotten Realms Interactive Atlas. Let's have a quick look here. See, okay, that's the search path we need over the index. The only thing, so we could reuse this, I guess, from the from here. So let's have a look, put that in, but not the @ but the $sign from the current map. No, yeah, should be right. Let's see. No, that doesn't work. Let's see whether we can find something like Waterdeep. No, doesn't work like that. Okay. I can take a quick look whether the index file is in here somewhere. Where's my folder? There we are. Yeah, the maps should be an IDX file here somewhere. Oh, but no. FCW files, there's the index file. Let's grab that and copy that to my program data folder. Fantasy C3 Plus. Let's put that, just simply put that here. See whether this in any case works. So let's just do @index. Yeah, that actually does work. Okay, so we do have the index for the file here. And we can now save this as a bookmark file. So let's say save as. That's in the program data folder, that's fine. So let's call that the Waterdeep bookmark. So that's a list of all the maps that have Waterdeep somewhere in them. And you can now go in here and open the Waterdeep to always get that back. And this way you can also just remove individual stuff from there. If you've got a few maps just and that you found and want to remove certain ones from them, you can delete them from the list and then save that as a special bookmark entry to always easily find that again. And then you can just open the map from the selected entry, which did not work because that's looking for the wrong location there, because the maps are not in that program data folder. Okay, so what you definitely should do is copy all the maps over to a new folder where you can actually work on them, because they'll be in program files and yeah, you won't be able to edit stuff. But this is just playing around with the search settings and the index and the bookmarks. All right, so let's go back to our map here and go back up to Saqqara. Here we go on the overland overall map. So what do you need to do if you want to set up something similar to that? You might have a world map of your own with some submaps. You'll probably not have something as big as the Forgotten Realms, but if you do, kudos to you. So let's grab something from my own stuff. So I'm gonna go to my documents and to my own maps, and then let's grab my Gendo maps. And I've got a world map there as well. So I've got the gender map. Yes, the big overall world map. See, that's also still the old CC2 style. I might have something converted in a converted version to CC3 at some point, but I don't need that for this. What I want to show you, so I'll just keep it at this. All right, and then I want to set up a link. Basically, I do have submaps for the northern and the southern hemisphere, and if I want to set these up as separate links, so you can just click on that for the next level, I want something like a new layer for put my map links on. So I'm gonna add a new layer map links. Here we go. And also set the color to our class. Traditionally, the bright purple is our color for links, and these you can of course use anything you want, what you like. And what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to set up a separate sheet for that, because we are in CC3 Plus and use sheets, and this will probably be useful later if you continue working with this. So I'm just putting in a new sheet, and then I'm gonna do tools, hyperlinks, link with map, and go to my maps again. Documents, no, there's my documents, my own maps, gender, and the world. And then we've got the southern hemisphere, gender, topographical. Okay, don't I have the single northern hemisphere in here? That confuses me a bit. I thought I had. Let's just link the southern hemisphere for the moment. Oh no, I think it's the topographical map. That's probably the northern hemisphere one. But let's try do the southern hemisphere map first. And then I'm just gonna put this all over this part of the map. And then I'm gonna do edit. And see that links to from the map itself, which is fine. Direct link. Just need to keep them together. So I'll put that, leave that in here. And if I click on this now, I should jump to the southern hemisphere, right? The only thing I don't have here at the moment is a link back. So I don't need a link back up. I don't have a compass rose here. So I'm gonna just put it on the contour labels here. So I'm gonna go add map link. Select the layer, also put in a sheet. Links, color purple, no, the other one. And then tools, hyperlinks, link with map. And that's my gender map here. And clicking on this, save the map, will bring me back up. So let's just double check quickly that my gender topographical is actually the northern hemisphere one. It is. So I'm gonna file save this as a copy. So I'm gonna do northern hemisphere. So just it's properly named. Go back to my, no, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted the gender map. There we go. And going to put in the other hyperlink. Draw, tools, hyperlinks, link with map, northern hemisphere. Start here to here. And now we can click on this and are on the northern hemisphere map. So again, I'm going to go in, add map link, Okay, sheet. Oh, here, this is one of the converted ones. You see, there we already have the sheets in here. Now, I did convert this to Campaign Cartographer 3 at some point. Links. Purple. Tools, hyperlinks, link with map. The gender map. Just here. Clicking on this will jump me back to here. And we've got the basis for the highest layer of maps already set up. And we can go now in and start linking submaps to this. So if I go in here, let's have a look. This would probably be then this is all the mold maps. So what I do have in here is regions. So for example, I would have the Tloa Empire in there. This is something that would be linked from this map here, or actually I could use the Nazaria map. Let's have just a quick look. So this one map is, if I show you the Northern Hemisphere map, it's this bit here. That's the peninsula or subcontinent, really, that the map links. So what I would then do, I would actually, because I want to keep this all in one folder and not in parallel folders, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of the regions folder and put that underneath the worlds folder. Did that work? Yeah, there's the regions, and that way I can have everything in one hierarchy of maps. Otherwise the links will get complicated if I do parallel folders. Yeah, good suggestion there that by Remy, or mentioned that the hyperlinks are invisible by default normally if you open the map. That's why you put in a separate rectangle that shows you the location, and that's something I forgot and we should be doing. So you see what we do here is I'm gonna do so just I don't make the same mistake as in the atlas itself, that this is all on the same layer and therefore hard to differentiate. I'm going to put in a layer map highlights, and I'm just gonna draw the same kind of thing, and a rectangle on top of the others. So one in here and one up, come on, there to here. So if I have now hidden the hyperlinks, here you go, see the text goes away. What remains is the arrow pointing finger that shows that we are on a hyperlink, and the boxes I've drawn are still there, so people see that there is actually something where they can click on. Not that important on this map where everything is a hyperlink, but if you've got a huge overland map where just some small locations are linked together, you need something to indicate where those links are. Otherwise, people will have trouble finding them. So what you would do is we'll go in here and draw view show hyperlinks. Oh, see, as you've seen they're hidden. You just don't see that the link is there. Although probably I don't want them to put in here. I want to be as the default. If you click on the key, that you go up, and so I don't need a visual indicator. That it's just going to be the same on all the maps. So therefore, I will not put that link on here. I'll just keep the indicators on these maps here. Hide hyperlinks. I just want to show you the link to the submap here, so I'm not going to put it on this map because the next level is just the Northern Hemisphere. But I'm put the I'm just going to add the map highlights here at the same time. But now I'm going to use the map links. Let's have a quick look on the Nazaria map, what it shows. I do want to keep close to the actual size of the map, so just off this island here and then just a little bit there. Okay, so let's go back. And then we're just gonna put in a link to that area here. Oh, actually, yeah, draw tools, hyperlinks, link with map. This time we're gonna go in the sub map, go on Nazaria, and turn off snap. So this is about the size Boran was on the other map. There we go. Something like this. And then also add the map highlights. And I'm gonna use F5. The only problem is there's a lot of stuff there, so I do need to zoom in to hit the corner. Same up here. No, didn't work. Something frozen here. No. I'll just do it like this. Be close enough. Oh, I did not change the fill style. So what I'm going to do is change fill style, select by prior, do it, and make the fill style hollow for this. Go. And now we can click on this part here to go on the Nazaria map. And here I'm a bit of a pickle because I have neither a key nor a compass rose. So I do need something else to go up. So for now, let's just put a compass rose on here. Do I have any compass rose symbols or something on here? Nope. So I do need to find something. Symbols. Overland. No, maps is correct. Compass roses here or something. Classic fantasy. Actually, I want vector color. Cartouches. Oh, perhaps not the best for this. But I just want a placeholder here for the moment, so I'll just grab this. The problem is my maps are not north oriented because it's basically a top-down view on the North Pole. So that's why this is not correct. It does not have a, this is not the north orientation of the map. Could probably actually just rotate that a bit to have that more correct. It's going to be something like this, I guess, just roughly. So again, I'm on map. Once map highlights, then map links. Current layer. Add links sheet, color purple with 0 and fill style hollow. So I'm gonna tools, hyperlinks, link with map, and this time I'm gonna go up again. Maps. Oh yeah, I need to go back to my documents world here. The Northern Hemisphere topo. Put that in here. Click. And there we are back. And I would not see the hyperlinks by default. So you've got the link here back on top again. And the map showing the link to the regional map to Nazaria. And that way you can easily move between your different regions and continents and then go down into cities and into individual buildings, and everything is linked together. I think I've done a video session on building a Atlas style map before. Just wanted to show you this in conjunction with the Forgotten Realms Interactive Atlas. But as you can see, it is some work to link everything together. Well, it would need some time, and you see how large of a project that was to do the linking alone in the campaign cartographer map, in the maps for the Forgotten Realms Interactive Atlas. And there we are, and that's what we've done here tonight, and I think with that I can get something to drink, something nice and cool, and enjoy the now finally sinking temperatures again for the evening. But it's going to be a warm night. Temperatures won't go below 20 Celsius tonight, so let's see how that goes. Thank you very much for watching, and if you set up your own atlas, let us know. Would love to see your own projects. And if you don't have your own personal atlas, why don't you join the community atlas and take the opportunity to just grab something that takes your fancy, and perhaps explore some new type of maps that you've done before and do something for the community atlas. That would be great to see. Thanks everybody, and if you haven't seen the new Profantasy website design yet, be a bit patient. It's going to propagate to your location very soon, I guess. And enjoy. Have a good night, and bye-bye.